Do you have a checklist of tasks in Notion that you reuse on a regular basis? Do you find yourself having to tediously uncheck those tasks when it comes time to reuse them? That weekly reset doesn't have to eat up your time. It's possible to build this so that you can hit one button to reset things, and it's even possible to have Notion do it for you all on its own. In this video, I'll show you a few different, incredibly simple methods for instantly resetting your recurring Notion tasks. Thanks so much to Sksingh on YouTube for asking a question about how to make this happen. This video is for you. Let's get started. Alrighty, so as I mentioned in the intro, this is a quick question that was asked by Sksingh-YT on YouTube about a week ago, and I just wanted to go through what he's asking, and then we'll cover the solution to it. So thank you so much for the question. I love answering questions for you all, so please head over to YouTube, watch my videos, leave comments. I might make a video just for you, and that's what's happening right here. So what he's asking, the summary of it is, he's saying that he has a checklist of tasks that occur every day, Monday to Sunday, and that he does them each week, gets to the end of the week, and he wants to be able to uncheck those tasks in one click. And then he's saying that the challenge for him is specifically on Android, and that the button that he's trying to create doesn't include the option to check or uncheck the values. Okay, so let me just answer that particular question right now. I actually asked a quick follow-up, which says, do you have your tasks as a plain checklist or as items in a database? And he confirmed, which was my suspicion, that he's got them as a plain to-do checklist. So a button's not going to work for that because a button can't manipulate those properties, at least not right now. My hope is that as Notion advances its AI, that they'll allow you to trigger an AI action from a button click or an automation, so AI things can happen automatically, but I don't know if that's going to be a thing, and we're not there yet. So right now, a button isn't going to be able to manipulate your checklist the way that you're saying. There are some solutions to work around that, and I'm going to show you on Android specifically, but the problem isn't actually Android, it's that you wouldn't even be able to get that to work on desktop. So let me show you how to build it. I'll show you what to do with your method with a plain checklist. We can deal with that, but you have to have access to Notion's AI to be able to uncheck things quickly. And then I'll show you what I think is a slightly better way of handling it, which is to use a database. So let us jump in. I have an empty document here, and I'm just going to give it an icon and a background just because tends to be a habit of mine. We'll do a quick search. Sure, that one is fine. We'll reposition it. Great. Okay, so what you've got, what you told me in your video, SK, I'm going to call you SK for short, by the way. What you told me in your video is that you essentially have something like this, Monday, and maybe we'll use an H3 and then some checklist items underneath. So you said things like study task 1, study task 2, morning exercise, evening exercise. Those were the tasks that I remember that you gave as examples. So we'll just stick with those. And basically what you said is that you had these items every day. So to duplicate that, by the way, I just selected it and hit Control-D on my keyboard, Command-D on a Mac. I'm not going to do the entire week, but you get the idea. We can duplicate this a few times and so on and so forth. And what you're saying is that you have these tasks that you check off every day. And what your goal is that by the end of the week, you want a quick button. As I said, a button's not going to be your friend in this case, but you want a quick method for clearing these. So you can use Notion's AI to do this. I haven't actually tested this, but I'm sure it will work. If I come to the AI, you can do this on Android. I'll show you as well. If you come to the AI and you say something like, uncheck all of the checkboxes on this page, and then just run it, it should do it for you. We'll see what it does. There it goes, and it unchecked them. So a way to make this slightly faster, you could take this prompt and we'll insert a new page and we'll insert an instruction that says uncheck all of the checkboxes, and then we'll tag the page, okay? And then what we can do, we should be able to do this on Android. So now we have this AI prompt. Let's just give it like a little magic icon. Yeah, that one works. So now we have our little AI prompt, and let's go back and just randomly check some of the boxes, okay? And then I'm gonna pull up my Android phone, and you can see I've got this here, and we'll run it from here. So now what I can do is if I come to the search, and we'll click the AI prompt, and we'll start a new chat, and then we can clear whatever's left, and we can say, run at uncheck weekly tasks. And that should do the same thing. And again, I'm doing this I'm manipulating my Android phone, which is sitting here on my desk. I have this software that allows me to control it, but this is my physical Android device, which I'd be able to do everything from my device. I'm just able to control it from my computer so you can see what I'm doing. Let's run this. And then we should be able to see in the background happening here as it does it, that should work. And there it goes. So that's a way to do what you're doing. If you want to keep the structure the same and you have access to Notion's AI, you can do that from mobile. You could set this all up for mobile. Everything that we did to build this checklist, you could do from mobile. You also don't have to set up the reusable AI prompt, but it's a quicker way of making things happen. So that's an option. But there's a better option, and that is to use a database. So let's back all this out of here. And you could do this all on mobile as well, but I'm going to do it on desktop, and then I can show you kind of setting up the button on mobile, which is what you asked me to do, specifically on Android. So we're going to insert a slash, and we're going to type database. We'll give this database a name. As usual, I insert the word database on the database so I can differentiate it from the page. Probably don't need to see it, so we'll hide that. We'll rename the main property to task, and then we'll give it a couple additional properties. So you have both the days of the week, and then I also noticed in your prompt, as you saw a minute ago, there's kind of a sub area or a tags or area property that you have to differentiate the types of tasks. So we can add those as well. So let's add a select, and we'll make this the days of the week. We'll call it days. And then we'll make a select, and we'll call this one area. And then we need a status property. So we'll just add it exactly the options that are available by default, which are not started, in progress, and done. One other thing that I would add to this, just because this is my preference, I would add a button, call this done, and then edit the automation and say, edit the property, edit the status, set it to done, and save that. So that way we have a quick thing, especially on mobile. It's nice to have just one click. I'll try to bring these in so I'm not getting that. I wish Notion would fix this scroll bar thing. I don't know how they'd fix it, but it's just so ugly. It drives me crazy. So we'll move this in. This is fighting me because you can see here, it's not letting me go any narrower. On this, we have a lot of extra padding, which probably might account for what's making that scroll bar show. So if I hit Alt on my keyboard, I can drag that in a little tighter. And yeah, you can see that that is what's doing it. I mean, you can make task a little tighter as well, just to get rid of that. Great. So what we want to do is we want to enter our days here. And you said Monday to Sunday, so that's the order I'm going to create it. One of the things about Notion is that when you create options, it shows it starts in reverse order. I wish it would do it in the order you type it in, but we're going to edit the property. We'll add an option and we'll do it in reverse order. So Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. So now we have the options in here, and then we'll group by days so that you can see all the items in each day. And then what we'll do is we'll come to the grouping setting, and we're going to turn off hide empty groups because nothing's going to be empty in this method. And then we'll turn on the sort. Alphabetical probably doesn't make sense. Nope, it doesn't. I wish that there was a way to do it to match the order of the group, but that's not a thing. So we'll fix the order manually. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we can turn off no days. So now we have a group for each one. And then what we can do is we can hide the days property, which gives us a little more real estate to work with here because we can see them here. And then what you said was you had, again, going back, let's go back to your example, and it shows here, study, task 1, task 2, exercise, morning, evening. So we can use that exact example. We can say study, task 1, and then you gave it an area so we can make an education area. And then just as a preference on my end, I'll make this as default. And then you had study task 2, tag that as education. And then I hit Shift Enter to create this new item. And then I saw exercise, morning, however you want to label this is fine. And then fitness. And again, I created a new one. So I'm going to, in this case, we'll make that gray. And the area might not be necessary at all. You could omit it completely and just write the area like I'm doing in the task name. Okay, that's what you said here. We can tag this as fitness as well. Now, if you wanted and you were doing the exact same set of tasks every single day and you didn't need them to be broken out day by day, you could just set it up as a list of daily tasks and not do all the grouping and just have these and then do the reset stuff I'm going to show you in a second. But given that you mentioned these, that it was every single day, I wanted to set this up so that you had the ability to put different tasks on different days. So let's quickly, what I can do, I can copy this. Notion has a funky method for allowing you to duplicate things. See, this drives me crazy. You know what? I'll leave these here and we'll let AI help us out here. So we can say, duplicate the tasks from Monday to all other days except Tuesday, which already has them, and let it do its thing. So now we can fill this out and insert a random thing onto a specific day, and then we can build our reset options. Okay, there we go. We got all our tasks to all the other days. Looks great. It put them in whatever order it felt like. I don't know how it picks that, so I could go through and fix them. Not really necessary. And also, I don't think I actually tested the button, but you can see as I hit done on these, they are marked as done. Something else you could do is a quick little bonus here. You could do a calculation. You could do a percent per group, and then you could say percent complete. So you could see how many you've done each day. We could add a unique Wednesday task. It doesn't have to have an area. Something else you could do if you wanted, you could filter this to hide the items that show as done. So if you wanted them to go away as you completed them, you could choose filter and then say is not complete, and they could go away. Don't know why you'd need that, but that's another option. Okay, so we have our checklist, and now the goal is that as we've completed items throughout the week, now it's Monday and we want our items to reset. So we could do two things. Let's pull this over on mobile and I can show you, I can build this here. So I have the exact same thing on mobile. So now I need to insert a button and I'm going to build it on mobile so you can watch things happen on desktop behind it. I'm able to control it from my computer, but it is working on my live Android device sitting on my desk. So that's where this is coming from. So we're going to add a button and we'll give it a name. We'll say reset checklist. We can give it an icon and I'll do an arrow and we can do like the back icon. It could be one of these, but I'll probably do like that and just give it, the dark color, whatever. And then the action that we want to take is we want to edit pages in, and then our data source is reusable checklist database. And I think this is where SK, you probably got tripped up. You didn't have this ability because you're trying to edit plain content on a page and that's just not an option with a button. So now we can do this. This is a tiny checklist. So we could just tell it, come in and set the status for every item, all pages, to not started, and hit done, and it would work. We could make it a little more targeted. If the list got super long, this might be handy because it might make it a little faster, but it's probably not necessary in this case. But if we wanted to set up a filter on this, let's move this over just a little bit so we can see our database items. So really all we need to edit are the items that are flagged as done. So we can edit this to change this from task to status and then say the status is complete and hit done. And now it will only affect the items that are marked as done. So it just has to edit fewer pages. So we can hit done on that. And now, again, this is on mobile. So I'll scroll this over. So now we can see all these statuses here, and let's hit the reset button and all the items went back to not started. Now, there's one more refinement that we could do, and it's not going to work right now because it'll be scheduled and it'll have to happen on a schedule. But I could set up, if I have a full paid Notion plan, I could set up a database automation to do exactly the same thing. So we could say reset on Monday. So we'll set up a new trigger to tell it and then it's under weekday, and we need to uncheck all of these. So it's only on Monday at around midnight, starting tomorrow, which actually happens to be Monday. So now it will trigger on its own. And if we know we want to reset it every single Monday, we could just have the database do it on its own. So I can set up the exact same action, edit pages in, reusable checklist database. We can set up the same filter where status is the done group, edit a property of status, set it to not started, and hit enable. And now this will just handle itself. Around midnight on Monday, all of our checklist items will reset. If we had a filter on to hide things as they went away, then they would all pop back up. We also, if we did it that way where we had the filter on, so maybe we want to turn back on the hide empty groups situation, because if we were to turn the filter on where we're hiding the complete items and we mark these as done, what should happen is once the group is empty, it should just go away and it will hide. So if I hit done on these items, Monday goes away and now Tuesday is just what's there. That might actually be kind of handy. So then I only have to look at the top group, and as I complete things, they go away. But when I reset them, everything just pops back in. And I think that's pretty handy. So this video was pretty impromptu and it was based on this question. So there's not a whole lot of fancy stuff, but I hope that you find this useful. If you wanted a reusable checklist, this is how to set one up. I would do it with a database, but there are options for doing a flat thing as well. Some items do require a paid Notion plan, and I'm starting to really push for folks to consider this plan. I have it myself, and I create Notion content. You can tell that I love this platform. It is incredible, the things that you can do. With Notion, I highly recommend that you think about upgrading, because just for the AI functionality alone, the AI functionality, the things that it can do are incredible. I was going to refer you back to the buttons video that this comment came from, which you can definitely get to, and I can put that on the screen now. But the actual video that I think you might want to check out is the video that I just published this morning. I published a video on creating a smart journal that you don't have to type or write into. You can just talk into it. And then there's all these really crazy AI things in the background that you can do to analyze and compile things. So it's great for therapy. It's such a powerful thing. Like I've done it a bunch just for myself. And I got on the video, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And like I built it and have done it myself for weeks now. And still every time the AI agent goes through and does all the tasks back to back and generates this whole summary and analysis for my therapy session, I'm like, this is the greatest thing. I will put that video on the screen for you right now because it's really something. So highly recommend that you check that video out. And if this video helped you in any way, would love a like and a subscribe from you because it just helps other folks that are nerdy like us find content like this and helps my channel, the little flicker that it is, to keep growing. So if it's helpful to you, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the smart journaling video right now.